That's a decent amount. Just one of them days that a girl goes through when I'm angry inside. Don't wanna take it out on you. It's just one of them days that a girl goes through when I'm angry inside. Don't wanna take it out on you. Don't wanna take it out on you. It's just one of them days that a girl goes through when I'm angry inside. Don't wanna take it out on you. That song been in my head all day. All day, all day. Make sure my sound is up because I have my phone on. Oh, no sound. There we go. No sound was on because I've been on Ringer all day. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm listening to you.
Oh. Just one of them days when a girl goes through when I'm angry inside. Don't want to take it out on you. It's raining here. I'm feeling good. It's a beautiful day. Feel amazing today. God woke me up this morning. Grandmother talked to me this morning, came with a strong vision for me this morning. So we getting back to the basics, baby. We getting back to what it is, which is the business, the finances, the money, the taxes, right? And so tonight I wanted to talk to you all because a lot of people have the misconception that wealth is only for rich people. And I want y'all to stop thinking like that, okay? Wealth is not only for rich people. For those of you that want to leave something to your kids, leave something to your grandkids. For those of you, if you have an insurance policy, you don't even have to own real estate yet. I want you to. If you're renting, we want to get you out of the mindset of renting and we want to get you in the mindset of owning. Okay, so we're going to have some real conversations tonight. All that other stuff is been there, done that, said that. We over that energy. It's time to get back to the real conversations, right? Which is the educating. That's what we do on here. Right? So tonight, what I wanted to talk to you all about is what I like to say is how to control from the grave. If you passed away today, have you thought about what you would want to leave your family? Okay. If you passed away today, have you thought about what does that look like? Right? And so a lot of people, what they don't understand is everything in this country, if you live in the United States of America, now I'm talking to every American tax-paying citizen. This has nothing to do with color, okay? Every single American tax-paying citizen, if you live in America, you need to learn and understand this structure, because this is what it's called. It's called a structure that we live in, all right? Just the same way we were talking about everything else, it's the same way with financial literacy and education. It's not feelings. Okay. It's no feelings in business. It's no feelings in money. Okay. It's not about how you feel. It's about what's the law, what's in the tax code, and how can you benefit and how can you use it. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. So one of the things that I like to share with you all is how I learned about trust. Okay. The biggest thing that most Americans don't do is create an asset protection plan. All right. Now, with everything that's going on in America, however you feel about it, I always have this question for every single one of y'all. What are you going to do about it? Right? What are you going to do about it besides getting mad, making paragraphs about whatever it is that you feel on this internet? Right? What are you going to do about it? Because at the end of the day, if you are being reactive and not proactive, to setting up a plan, setting up a game plan, then guess what? None of this internet keyboard woofing typing is going to do nothing. All right. If you die tomorrow, what are your kids going to be left with? Okay. So while you in here busting vessels on the internet and getting all in your feelings, get a game plan. All right. Get a structure and order in place. And I'm going to say this at the beginning of the live right now. I and my business partner are hosting a free workshop, free workshop for you all on Monday, which is the holiday, Columbus Day, October 13th, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you in Chicago, or CST Standard Time, Central Time. And then if you are downstate or in ET, right? We're just going to say Eastern Time. If you're on Eastern Time Zone, it's 7 p.m. 6 p.m. Central Standard, 7 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. We are doing a free trust and estate planning workshop for you all, so you can see the entire picture, right? Because again, I always say this. A lot of people, especially Americans, have this misconception that the rules are only for the top 1 to 10%. And I need y'all to know and understand, as much as you hate whoever you hate, study your enemy. Okay? Because at the end of the day, every single thing that Bezos does, Trump does, Elon Musk does, you can do those same things. I need y'all to know that. You can do those same things. You can structure your lives, your businesses. If you don't have a business, then this is, again, why you may want to be in this free workshop. Because if you live in the United States of America, you working a 9-to-5 job by yourself is not it. If you all are thinking whatever corporate job you have is about to make you wealthy, it will never happen. Now, if you have the mindset of using that 9-to-5 money and income and then turning that into a business, using that to start your business, using that money to invest in your stocks and your S&P 500s and your crypto. And let me also say this. If you have life insurance through your job, that is not enough. Because if the job, almost every state in America is an at-will state, which means they can fire you whenever they want, at will. All right? So if you lose your job tomorrow, again, being in financial services for these last 22 years, right? Some of you are new here. You don't know who I am. You never heard of me. Cool. I am Patrice L. Stewart, the realist tax and business strategist. Yes, I do community activism just because I have a mouth, right? But my day-to-day mindset business is tax and business strategy. I help people save millions of dollars every single year, all by using the tax code, which is legal. It's that simple. It's not feelings, right? So I'm going to share some of the things that the wealthy do that you may not know that you can do the same way, right? So a prime example that I always like to use is my own family. My grandparents set us up a trust. We had a family trust, Stewart Trust. My last name is Stewart. We had the Stewart Trust, Stewart Family Trust, right? My grandmother and grandfather set that up. It was 4 of us. My dad has 3. I have 3 step siblings from my dad's marriage and myself, right? So it's 4 of us. In the trust, and this is why I like to say this is how you control from the grave, okay? A lot of you all, when you do have life insurance policies, you leave it to your individual kids. And guess what? If you have not taught these kids how to manage that money, I see this every single year. I see people lose hundreds of millions of dollars all through probate. Or because you gave the kids 100,000, 200,000, whatever your life insurance policy amount was, and they blow through it. I have seen people receive 100,000 and it's gone in 3 months. Crazy. That's not the way to do it. So if you know your kids better than anybody, right? I don't know your kids. You know your kids' mental. If you know that you have not taught your kids anything as far as financial literacy, then this is how you have to set up your asset, right? You have to actually have a trust. You have to have a trust. And more specifically, I'm going to talk about an irrevocable trust versus a standard revocable trust. An irrevocable trust is the highest level of asset, privacy, and wealth protection. Okay? A lot of attorneys won't necessarily talk to you about the irrevocable one, but what I'm talking about tonight is the irrevocable trust. And we'll go a lot more heavy into detail when we host the class on Monday. Okay. But what I want to share with you is when you have a trust, this is a way that you are able to structure how you want things done when you pass away. So even in death, you are still controlling the money. Okay. Even in death, you are still controlling the money. So, example, my grandparents put in the trust that we had to go to college. If we didn't go to college, we did not receive our trust fund, right? Every single one of us had an individual account. And so my little brother did not go to college. So guess what? When they passed away and we ended up dissolving the trust, which is what I learned, because that's one of the things that they didn't do, was set it up to where it's ongoing. We shouldn't have necessarily dissolved it, right? But we did, because that's the way it was stated when the trust was set up through my grandparents. Now, remember, this was back in the 1920s and 30s. Let's say the 1930s, she won her case in 1943. So let's say they maybe set up the trust in 1960, right? 1960s and 70s. A lot of our grandparents were not taught certain things, right? A lot of things that they did were kind of ways that they found out on their own. So one of the things that I learned was when you have a trust, it's a way to structure it to where you don't shut it down. You have it continually going. That's how the Rockefellers are the Rockefellers. Let's be clear. The Rockefellers, let's just say the example is 10 of them got together. Everybody put money in. It's a $10 million trust. As every person passes, it does not go to their individual kids. The money goes back to the trust. And then you get payments and payouts. That's how my grandparents really should have set up the trust, right? But it is what it is. I'm glad that they did it. I learned something. We got some funds. We got our colleges. All of us went to college. We got our college education paid for. And then we walked away with a little bit of money at the end, right? That's what you want, ultimately. You want your kids to have something. Your kids should not be suffering. If you suffered, any of y'all that's parents, I don't know how you are okay with not setting stuff up to where your kids are suffering. I don't have kids. But the way I hear how some of you all talk about, well, this and it and it, I'm gonna just say that and I'm gonna go on by my business, okay? But if you are someone who is worried about how your next generation is gonna live, how your bloodline is going to continue on after you, it's up to you to set it up. It's up for you to do the work, okay? So when you have a trust, you can control from the grave. You could literally put in the trust whatever you want to put. If y'all don't like your son's wife, right? Because I had a client that did this. If y'all don't like your son's wife and you don't want her to have access to certain things or money, you can stipulate that in the trust. If you want the trust to, if you want the money to be, if they got $1 million policy and you don't want them to get the money all the way, you could say, okay, they can get $5,000 payments for the next 30 years. I don't know how much that is over time. It might be over $1 million, right? Let's just say the next 20 years, right? That's how you could do it, right? Like that's the whole point of a trust. It literally is a way for you to set up how you want things to look, how you want things to go after you leave and pass, and how is it going to keep flowing. That's how generational wealth is built. We always holler generational wealth, but then we're not having these conversations talking about how to really get there. You get what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, and we're going to talk about this a lot more in detail, but the other thing with trust is also the tax planning, right? So I'm a tax and business strategist. I'm a very well versed with the tax code, especially the business tax code, being an entrepreneur for the last 16 years, but being a full-time 1000% entrepreneur since March of 2013. I've shared that story with you all. It's a lot of new people here. I worked for corporate America for about 6 years. I worked in the banking industry and in the finance industry for a small electrical distribution company. And then I got let go from the bank in March of 2013. But I had already started my company in business in 2008. Okay. So I was working my business part-time from 2008 to 2013. I decided not to go back to corporate and to do this on my own with the grace of God, right? And 12 years later, here we are, right? And so I need you all to understand entrepreneurship, the way everybody wants to put it out today, like it's not this glorious thing. It actually is a walk of faith with God, right? Most people who are entrepreneurs, we're not just entrepreneurs because we're trying to make money. Most of us are entrepreneurs because this is something that we were told to do, an idea that you were gifted and that you were told to do, right? So everyone's not going to be an entrepreneur, but all of you all work. A lot of you all have kids. A lot of you all are going to pass, and that's what we don't want to talk about. Everybody think that, oh, you got so much time. You may not be here in the morning. That's the reality. So you have to set things up now to know and understand. Don't think you got all the time in the world, because you don't, right? So the first thing is if you have a 9-to-5 job and you only have life insurance through that job, that is a bad thing. Okay, that's cool, but you still need to have your own separate personal life insurance. Same with your 401k. If you only have 401k through your job, but you don't have your own separate investment account with Fidelity, E-Trade, Charles Schwab, something like that, you need to do that. I have a lot of videos and content on my TikTok page. And I also have a lot on my YouTube as well. I do a lot more content on TikTok and YouTube. YouTube is my main platform, right? I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. So those first two things I want to say to y'all. 401k is not enough just through the job, and then your life insurance is not enough through the job. You need to have your own outside of that. Now, most people put both beneficiaries, right, as your kids. So let's say something happens to you and you have $100,000 life insurance policy. That full $100,000 is going to go to your kid. We're just going to use one kid, for instance, in this time. If you have not taught that child any type of money, knowledge, information, because maybe you don't know, right? This is not taught in the educational school system. This is why I talk about this type of stuff. This is why my platform, some of the time you'll hear me say, I tell you what school won't teach you, because school don't teach you this. School don't teach you finances. School don't teach you taxes. School don't teach you business, which are the main three things that this country run off of. So when you see people and you hear things and you saying like, oh, that's the rich, that's the wealthy, get out of that mindset, because that's not just for Bezos and them. It's not just for them. This is actually for you. It's all in the tax code. Every single American taxpaying citizen, you have the right to use the IRS tax code, if you didn't know that. Okay? So I don't expect you to know that, because guess what? You might be a teacher. You may be a heart surgeon. You may be a warehouse worker. You may be a bus driver. So you would not know the tax code. You have to learn from people like me who are okay with getting on the internet and telling you the truth. Not fake influencers. Be clear. Because I have a resume and a background, and you can Google me and you can look and see all of the information and content that I have over the last 12 years on this internet to show that I know what I'm talking about. So you all have to do your research on people, right? Do people have offices, licenses, businesses, things like that? You get what I'm saying? But again, you won't understand that. So I'm not expecting you to understand the tax code, but I want you to listen to some of the things that you can do, like this. Remember, and I use Trump one because y'all hate him too, right? But I'll also say that because you want to study your enemy. Instead of being so upset at your enemy, study your enemy. Real people who know what I'm talking about, you study your enemy. You look at your enemy, you watch your enemy, you see what your enemy doing, and if that's your enemy, right? In my eyes, people that are rich and wealthy is not the enemy. They just learned how to work with CPAs, tax attorneys, tax strategists like myself, who teach them the tax code and they utilize it. And we're going to share that. We're going to share how these planes that you all get on, like a lot of, like, I don't want to say American Airlines, but I'm going to just say that for the sake of conversation. But Gary will go more into this on Monday. Gary is the wealth advisor. Gary is going to go heavy into the trust, how it works, how do you build it, all of that. All right. But just for example, those airplanes that you all get on, and again, we just gonna use American Airlines. Say American Airlines has 3,000 different planes. They have a trust set up for every single plane. Every single individual plane has a trust. They don't want, if something happens to one plane, for you to sue them, and then that's gonna mess with all their other money. This is how businesses do. If you have an owner who knows their business, if you have an owner who is smart and works with a professional, if you have an owner of a nightclub, the owner of the nightclub will have a separate trust for the parking lot. The owner of the nightclub will have a separate trust for the dance floor. They will have a separate trust for the entity, the building itself. Because guess what? If you go outside in the parking lot and have a fight and a shootout, they don't want to be sued. They're going to be sued off of the parking lot alone. So they have a separate trust box. Mom, come get your phone. It's ringing in the background. They have a separate trust for the parking lot. Okay? This is business. All right? This is business. So you have to think of things the same way. If you own property, some of you are homeowners. Okay? If someone slips and falls on your property and they want to sue you, now they're coming after all your assets. But if you have your property protected in a trust, and more importantly, an irrevocable trust, whole different ball game. Whole different ball game now. Okay? So I don't want you to be in the mindset that you can't do what you think the wealthy do. The wealthy is a class. That doesn't mean that that's not somewhere you could be. You can grow up poor, you could be homeless, you can change every single thing in your life. Y'all see here Tyler Perry story, right? Other people got the same stories. Went to LA, did what they needed to do, slept in their cars or whatever, and then they became successful, right? It's all in the mindset. It's all in what are you willing to do? What work are you willing to put in? What are you willing to learn to change your life, right? And so that's what we're getting back to, these type of conversations. Because I'm a person that is, what can we do to fix something? I'm not somebody who's on here talking and complaining and running their mouth all day. I changed my entire life 12 years ago, once I became an entrepreneur. I see things clearly. I don't see things from the lens of an average American because I don't live the average American life. Once you get off that 9-to-5 slave trade mindset and you're able to see things differently, you're able to read, you're able to be in rooms and see how people move in this country, you have a whole different mindset. I don't have a lack mindset. I don't have a mindset where I'm in thinking that people could keep me down. Nobody can hold me down. Only body that's holding you back is you. From you wanting to change. You're comfortable. And a lot of you all are comfortable. You're comfortable where you at. You're comfortable with your job. You're comfortable with the money that you make. That's fine. If you're comfortable, stay there. I'm not talking to you. But for somebody who's ready to change their life, for somebody who's ready to boss up, for somebody who's ready to lead their kids some real assets and generational wealth, then definitely tap on in to this workshop. Now, YouTube, of course, you all can see the number. Facebook, you all cannot. I did put the link here in the challenge. It's in the pin. Oh, it's not supposed to be pinned. The locked in challenge. Let me unpin that. It's supposed to be another challenge. It's supposed to be another link on here. I thought I put the link on here. I'll type it in the comments, Facebook, plstewart.club. Like I said, we're hosting this free workshop. This is open to the public. If you are a U.S. American citizen, this is for you. This isn't about race or color or creed. This is the tax code, and the tax code doesn't see any color. It literally doesn't. All right. I need y'all to know and understand that. Stop limiting your mindset and believing that that it's more for others, but not for you. That doesn't even make sense. Okay. So when you do this, right? When you set these certain things up, it gives you asset protection. But it also allows you to be able to, like I said, control from the grave. If you have $1 million policy, if you have a $500,000 policy, you should not be leaving that policy directly to your kids. The money will go into the trust, right? Goes back into the trust. And then you can issue payments out to the kids. It will last a lot longer that way. One, that's facts. Again, I've been in financial services over 22 years. I see it every single year. How many people lose so much money going to probate court? Also, a will, right? Let's talk about property. For those of you that may be a homeowner or may have a property, a 3-unit, 2-unit investment property, right? Also, you can have a trust for those properties as well, right? And it's levels to this. And when I say trust, we're talking about levels. It's holding companies, then the trust. Then you may have an LLC. The LLC is then under the holding company. The holding company is going to hold all your assets, and then you're going to have a separate LLC for each property. I personally don't think you all should have all of your properties under one, because what did I just say? If something happens to one property, now your other 2 properties are pulled into that lawsuit. You got to think like the airlines. Gary's going to go over this. Every single plane with certain airlines, well, probably majority of them, he'll explain that again. But I'm going to just, like I said, use the example of American Airlines. Every single plane has its own separate trust. This is how business owners think. So even when those of you all who are buying real estate, you're really a business owner. You need to think of yourself that way. So you should be setting yourself up and structuring your business for asset protection. That's how you're able to keep giving it and passing it down to your kids. Okay? So what's going on with YouTube? Because normally YouTube, y'all be in here. I'm not seeing none of y'all. Let me type in. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because YouTube is real quiet. For y'all just must be listening to me. I was like, are y'all on here? Because y'all normally be all in the comments, but y'all must be listening clearly. I see the hearts coming now. We cool. I just wanted to make sure y'all chat was on. Y'all just never been this quiet before, that's all. But back to it. That's what I was saying. So, okay, no problem. I just want to make sure we was good. So, what was I saying? So, like I said, the example, if you have multiple properties, right? Your multiple properties should not be under one LLC, right? People who listen to tax professionals, tax strategists like myself, the way that we would recommend to structure that is to have either a series LLC or have multiple LLCs for each property. All right. Again, you never know what can happen. You don't know if somebody slips and falls or something falls off your building and hurts someone, right? So you have to set things up like that. Okay. People always say, well, that's more paperwork. Yeah, it is. But do you want to deal with more paperwork, or do you want to be paying somebody out hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars? Like, make it make sense. You could pay somebody to do your paperwork. Okay. That's what we're here for. All right. But I want y'all to remember that, right? Because I hear people say that all the time. So don't be cheap with your assets, because when something goes wrong, and it could, right? It could. That's just the reality. You want to be protected. You want to have that stuff in place. So you're not leaving the money directly to the kids. It's going back into the trust, and the trust can pay monthly payments, right? It can give them monthly payments over a certain number of time. You can literally put whatever in there. If you say, I don't ever want this property to be sold, I want this property to be passed down for generations forever until the earth is gone, that's what it's going to be. Then they can't sell that property. And this is what happens. And I used to have my little shirt on. I don't even know if y'all have seen it, but don't sell grandma's house. That's why I say that. That's why I say don't sell grandma's house, because that is an asset. Your grandparents took blood, sweat, and tears to get those properties. And if the first thing your kid, a lot of these kids, I see it every day. A lot of y'all work so hard and then you leave all this stuff to these kids and they sell it. They don't care. So if you know that, you are setting yourself for failure. If you know that this kid that you got or your kids have mentioned, like, we don't care about this house or we ain't gonna have that conversation. Start having real conversations with your kids. Start having conversations with them to understand their mindset. That will let you know how to set stuff up. Because a lot of you all set stuff up and leave it to these kids and they sell it. I see it every single day. Sell it immediately. To me, that's one of the worst things that you could do is sell off your grandma's house just because you don't want to live in it. It's called rent it out, Airbnb it, corporate lease it, something. But they don't think like that. They instantly want that quick money. And most of the time, they selling it for less than what it's worth. Let's be clear. They're not even getting the full value for it. So if you have worked hard for your property and you don't want your kid or grandkid to just sell it off, you have to put the paperwork together to structure that. All right. And so, like I said, Monday, October 13th, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time, my partner and I, Gary Atkins, will be on teaching you for free how the whole trust and tax planning and business, tax, business, credit, struck, all of it. It's a whole circle. It's the foundation. All right. It's a system. And that's what we want to show you. You can literally change your entire life if you learn credit, business, and taxes. Change everything. I changed the whole game when I learned credit. That was the first step. Then when I learned business and business taxes, I was gone. Everybody can't say they've been an entrepreneur for the last 12 years. A lot of people can't. That's not a high number. All right. At all. It's a reason why I've been in business for the last 12 years, because I studied the system. I don't have no enemies on the wealth side. Anybody that's rich and wealthy, they're not an enemy to me. I'm studying them. And this is what I want you all to get out of the mindset. If you're stuck on watching football, because I had a client tell me this last week, I've invited him out to something and he was like, oh, football is on Sunday. You are watching people who are making millions of dollars. This is how I know your mindset. And this is what needs to change. If you are okay with continually watching people on TV who have millions already, but you're not okay with taking the time out to study, to get in a class, to get in a workshop, to learn something that's going to better you and your kids and your future, then mentally you have not hit that mindset. Football, love and hip hop, whatever reality TV, whatever is on TV, whatever entertainment that you want to tell yourself, if you can't take off of that to learn something new, then you're not ready. You're going to be stuck where you at. And that's okay. That's the average American. Do y'all want to keep being average? Do you want to keep being average? Or do you want to do something different? Because that's what the average person does. The average person watch TV. The average person sit and wait on football players and basketball players and watch them up and down playing the ball. I'm not paying attention to nobody that's making the millions that I'm trying to make. I'm in the rooms and conversations. Gary is a retired ball player when y'all come on. And the beautiful thing that I love about Gary is, guess what? Now, again, this is for everybody, but I want to say this. Gary is a beautiful Black man that is teaching and educating in wealth. Has several multi-million-dollar clients that he's helped and helping. Right? This is who you're about to have access to on Monday. This is not an average conversation. If you're ready to not be average, then you need to tap on in and get into this workshop on Monday, and it's free. So you can text me. Oh, Instagram, you can't see it either. I don't know how to mirror because I'm not on Instagram or Facebook too much, and I don't really know how to use these. They live. I'm gonna just say that. I don't know how to mirror it, but so I'm gonna put it down here in the comment. YouTube, you all could see it. I'm just got to move my head out the way. You can go ahead and click the link, or you could text me and we'll send you the link. Again, it's completely free. This will be Monday night. Trust. Excuse me. All right. But that's what we on. That's what we've been on. We educating. People changing their lives who have any type of access to me. If you've ever known me in life and had some real access to me, you're better than who you were. Because I'm the type of person that we don't let you be average. And if somebody is telling you that or pouring into you and telling you that you could be more, pay attention to that person. It's not that many people that actually push you and encourage you to be more when people see more in you, right? But you have to not have a limited mindset at all. And then the other thing that I'm going to say is my properties are owned by my LLCs. I have it set up that way for a reason, right? And let's talk about this. When you are a homeowner, if any of you all are a homeowner, now let's get interactive. Let's get on here and talk something. If you all are a homeowner, all right, if you have filed your taxes, what can you file on? What can you write off being a homeowner? Any homeowners on here, on any platform, what can you write off if you are a homeowner? I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds and see if I see anything. If not, we're just gonna go into it. YouTube is counting down 10 seconds. Nah. What can you write off if you are a homeowner? Standard. It don't really depends. It's not much that you writing off as a homeowner. So standard is you writing off your taxes. If you have a business, everybody doesn't have a business, but great Trill Biz. But that's not under the homeowner. That's if you have a business, your home office space. Because everybody doesn't have a business. So that's not a standard homeowner deduction. So I'll just tell you what it is. So when you, exactly, Tony, basically, the taxes, you get to write off your property taxes and you get to write off your mortgage interest payment. Just the interest, not the full mortgage payment, only the interest on that mortgage payment. Those are the two standard things that you get to write off as a homeowner. As a homeowner, single family homeowner. Okay? Okay? You cannot write off home improvements. You do not write off home improvements, Amber. As a single family homeowner, if this is your main dwelling, you don't get to write off home improvements. No, you don't. No. You don't get to depreciate that asset when you're a regular homeowner. Okay? That you get as an investor when it's an investment property. Big difference. Right? So the IRS looks at it when you are doing updates to your home. If you update your kitchen, your personal dwelling that you live in, you don't get to write that off. You don't get to write that off. So I'm going to use Tony as an example since I saw Tony mention it first with property taxes. If Tony lives in her house, right? This is her main dwelling. She lives in her house and she wants a brand new kitchen. Tony don't get to write that kitchen off. That's her personal house. That's her personal home. So the IRS does not allow you to do that because they're like, this your personal house. You'll get that value when you sell the house. Once you actually sell the house is when you all see the real value in your houses. But see, the system taught you what? To go to college, pay 6 figures for a degree that a lot of people are not making 6 figures. Let's be clear, because it's less than 12% of Americans that make 100,000. All right. So some of you all have 6-figure college debt and you're not making 6 figures. Then they told you go and buy a car, which is another bill. Because as soon as you drive that car off the lot, it depreciates for whatever you paid for it. I don't care if it's a Range Rover or not. Still depreciates. All right. So they put that in your mind to buy these luxury, nice cars. And some of y'all got $1,500 a month notes that you struggling to pay because you got that mortgage. Now you got this $1,500 car note. That's not even including your insurance. You forgot about that. You got to have mandatory insurance. All right. And then you got this house. So some of y'all are paying 6-figure student loan debt, a car note, a mortgage, and insurance. That's not even covering your kids. I don't even know how some of y'all out here doing it. I'll be like, whoo, I'll give it to you, baby. Anybody that got kids, I give it to you. Because I don't know how y'all surviving in America. This is why we got to have these conversations. Right? But that's what the system has taught y'all. So this is how everybody think. But what they don't teach you is the real. And this is what I learned. Even me, I've been single. I have never had kids. So me buying a house back in 2009, I should not have bought a house. I should have bought a building. And this is what I tell my younger clients who come in and tell me that during tax time, well, Patrice, I'm thinking about buying me a house. Why? You don't need no house. Go get you a building. Go get you a 3 to 4 unit building. That's what they don't teach us first. You buy your investment property first. You buy your investment property first. The investment property pays for the car and it pays the insurance. And guess what? It's going to pay for whatever house you want after that. Nobody teaches you that. You buy the investment property first. Buy a couple of them if you want to. Get you a couple of buildings, okay? Now you can go buy that Range Rover. And them buildings are paying for your Range Rover. Now you go buy that house that you want. And those buildings are paying for your house. This is how the wealthy think. It's not a class level, y'all. This ain't about color or race. It's the system that we have been indoctrinated here in America. This is why so many people are on the internet arguing right now, because they have flooded your mind with all this stuff, with political, with this and that, and y'all don't know the real game. Y'all arguing with each other and everybody broke. I'm not arguing with nobody broke, whether you red or blue. You broke. What you talking to me for? You mad and so angry because you're broke. You're in a system that has indoctrinated you and told you, oh, it's this and it's that. No, it's the system. All of y'all are under the damn matrix. Let's be clear. Anybody who on here arguing about a political party, you're in the matrix. Come up out of it, please. Please hear me. And don't respond and don't listen to me to respond, which I'm glad a lot of you can't. I mean, you could talk and put your little comment there, but listen with an open mindset. Don't listen with trying to think and be in your house right now talking back. Well, this is that. Listen. Be quiet. That's why YouTube is quiet tonight. Who is normally very active in the comments. YouTube is listening. That's why I love y'all on YouTube. That's why I tell y'all I love y'all. Love y'all. Y'all my favorite platform. Because y'all listen. YouTube has a different mindset. The reason why people on YouTube are here, because they're looking. They're watching long form content. They're watching hours of content. I got a message that I got 200,000 views of content in the last 3 days on my channel. Because y'all been on here watching information that I've been putting out here for a very long time. So thank you for that, YouTube. But that's the reason why people are on YouTube. They're looking for information. They're looking to be better. If you on certain platforms keep y'all in the level. And this is why I say Instagram and Facebook, a lot of y'all mindset, everybody that's in business, we all say the same thing. A lot of y'all mindset on these two platforms, you are clouded. You watch a lot of stuff. You're not paying attention. You're not thinking how some of the people on YouTube and TikTok are. It's a difference in the mindset. The comments and conversation on my YouTube and my TikTok are completely different than the comments and conversation on my Facebook and my Instagram. Always has been, even with the videos that went viral these last couple of days. Different conversation, different mentality. All right. So think about what I'm saying tonight. Money, finances, taxes, business, ain't no feelings in that. This is all structure. In the United States of America, we have a structure, which is the tax code. Baby, I use that sucker. I learned that sucker. And I'm living my best life through it. I live my whole life through my business. All I did was switch from becoming a consumer to a business owner, to an entrepreneur. Living my best life through it. My mama hasn't worked a job in 21 years. My mama is 72 years old. My mama haven't worked since she was 50, actually 22 years. She made 72 last month. My mom has not worked a job in 22 years. I'm proud to say that. That's a major accomplishment for me. If I die tomorrow, I'm great. Because my mama didn't have to work another day after I learned who I was. And this was before I left corporate America. My mama quit working the day I graduated. Okay? Basically. 22 years. 1999. No, I'm sorry. 2004 is when I graduated college. 2004. We in 2025. And I'm able to show my mom what she never thought would be able to be possible. If I show her one of my payments, she like, I would have had to work 3 to 4 months to make that. Right. And you don't have to do that no more. That's my kid. Everybody know that. My mama is my child. Right. So I want more of you to have that. I want more of you to experience that. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. But you can still live a very great, beautiful life with learning business and structure and taxes and trust and estate planning. It's a totally different world. We had a workshop last week with my real estate coach and mentor. And I talked about that at her event, right? Which was my topic was talking about taxes, the business taxes. But instead of coming on and normally talking about Schedule C's and basic stuff, I broke down a trust. I broke down what having a trust looks like as a business and what having and not having a trust. So one business owner making $250,000, and this is the example I'm going to give in the class on Monday. I'm going to just give you a quick run through of it. One business owner as a sole proprietor making $250,000 versus a business owner set up under a trust. The average business owner making $250,000 would have paid about $52,000 in federal taxes, and they would have paid about $12,000 in state taxes. If you have a state that has taxes, Illinois, we have taxes. Florida, Texas, you all don't have state taxes, so that's great. You wouldn't have to pay that, which is why I'm looking at going to one of those states with no taxes, with no state tax. That's where we're going next. Getting up out of high Illinois, right? I'll keep property here, but I'm not about to keep living here. So that's the difference, right? From someone making $250,000 and paying the federal government $52,000 in taxes. No, and that was with expenses. We wrote off some expenses. We didn't write off everything, but that was writing off some expenses. But then if you was a business owner who had a trust set up, the way that Gary is going to show you how to set it up, you go from paying $52,000 in taxes to it was around paying $3,800 in taxes. Again, in the workshop, you'll see it. We got the PowerPoints, all of that. I'll do the full thing, right? I'm giving you a quick summary right now. In the difference, just because you set up a trust, just because you set it up, not just because you set up a trust, an irrevocable trust, the way that we're going to tell you to set it up, the way that we're going to show, not tell you, but show you an example of how it's set up, and then using the tax code, right? Using the tax code and structuring it to where you're paying the least amount in taxes. So when you hear that Bezos paid no taxes after Amazon made billions. Amazon make over $1 million a day, $2 million a day. It's 365 days in a year. The fact that Amazon pays zero taxes, Bezos pays zero taxes, and some of y'all are making 50,000, 60,000, and you're paying a nice amount of that money is coming out of taxes, right? So someone who's a millionaire is paying less taxes than you. Do you not understand that? It's not the fact that the wealthy are getting over. It's the fact that they know and understand the tax code. They know and understand to hire people like myself who knows the tax code. If you made money and this is where I want you to start thinking and not being in your feelings. You can't look at where you are in life today. If I looked at where I was at 10 years ago, I wouldn't be here. I look at life from how I want to see my life in the future. So if you see yourself as a millionaire, 100,000-aire, then you would know and understand once you make your money and come out here and work for your money, you don't want the government to snatch that up. How are y'all mad that the wealthy don't want to pay more in taxes? I'm not mad at them for that. If you was making some real money, you want people to be taking 40% of your money if after you built this business and you made $1 million, you think it's okay for somebody to be paying 40%? No. Again, maybe it's just me because I look at myself as wealthy. I'm wealthy right now. I may not have 100 million. I may not got $1 million, but I'm still wealthy in the mind, wealthy in the flesh, wealthy living day to day, wealthy in my aura, in my presence. You get what I mean? Like, I don't have that. So when you are in poverty, and this is again why I talk about certain things the way I do, when you are in a poverty mindset, and when I say a poverty mindset, a lot of you all are in survival mode. When you are in constant survival mode, your nervous system can't even rest. You're not even at rest because you constantly trying to figure out, oh, I got to do this. I got to pay that. These kids need this. You get what I'm saying? You stressing. The American way is to keep you stressed and in bills and in debt and constantly trying to figure it out. That's the fake American dream that they sold y'all. They've never taught you this. They've never taught you the real way to be able to get out of survival mode. I'm no longer in survival mode. I was there with you. I understand where you're coming from. I worked in the cubicle before. I didn't like it. I didn't like nobody telling me what to do. And I'm a Gemini. And again, I'm an indigo child. So it's different. My mindset is different. I don't like to be told what to do. I didn't like having to ask for a vacation. I didn't like having to ask to do certain things. I was like, no, I don't like how this feel. No, I'm not supposed to be here. No. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to somebody. Some of you may like your job. You may love your job. I'm not talking to you, but somebody on here I'm talking to. You don't like that job. You don't like that cubicle. What you gonna do about it? You can't be stuck and stagnant. You can't be on the internet mad, writing paragraphs on politics and other stuff and what Cardi B and them doing. I need you to get your mind right. How you about to change that? What you gonna do to fix that? Especially if you was like me and he was talking to you and tapping on you at night and every day you was thinking about it. Every day you like, oh, this is not my life. I want more. This is not my life. If that is constantly being told to you, you watching this live for a reason. You watching this live for a reason. You're watching this live for a reason. So get in class. I'm gonna move my head out the way. I already put the link down there in the thing. Nicole, that's how you feeling? Let's roll, baby. Baby, your whole life could change, Nicole. Seriously. I get on here and I tell y'all some of the stuff that I went through because I want you to know that I was once you. I don't get on here and talk about nothing that I don't know. And the people who know me and follow me and not even know me, but who's followed me for the last couple of years, you'll know that. That's why I trademarked the realist tax and business strategist. Because I am. I'm the realist. I'm not on here lying and faking it and kicking it. I done been through some stuff. And it's okay. We don't have to act like we've never been through nothing in life. I told y'all I lost my house. I lost both my cars. I was living in my office for 11 months. We go through stuff. You go through stuff financially. If you're going through something financially, it's okay. Okay? It's okay. It is okay. I'm talking to the little boy, little girl in you right now. It is okay. We all go through it. Everybody want to play fake and phony and put on this front on the internet. We all go through financial hardship, especially in your 40s, especially in your 30s and 40s, especially. Okay. Let me tell you, all that's materialistic. I knew that I could get another car. I knew I could get another house. But what I was not willing to do was let my business go. I built this business from the idea of a mustard seed. I was like, nah, I'm going to go live in that office. I'm paying all this money for this office. My office back then was $2,000 a month. And that didn't include my light, my heat, my gas, my cable, my garbage pickup. So just rounded up till about $3,000 a month I was paying just for my office. That didn't even include my house. And back then, y'all know I had my dog Socks. So that was my child and my mom. So I was paying $3 a month just for my office. Why I was like, Patrice, you don't need another house. God was like, go be still. Be still. So when I lost that house in foreclosure, it ended up going in foreclosure, got sold, whatever. I moved everything into my back room. I set up a little mini suite in my office, in the back of my office. I had a whole mini suite. Bed, TV stand, Socks dog bed, my workout machine, my little ottoman and chair. I set it up like a little mini hotel suite. And I was in that office for 11 months. Waiting, praying, talking to God. Still servicing my clients. My clients had no clue. Anybody that came to see me on 95th in 2020, 2019, from between 2000 and, it was 19, 2019. Any of my clients that came into that office in Beverly on 95th, y'all ain't even know I was living back there. I was living in my office, but I was still servicing my clients, still empowering my clients, still pushing my clients and going to the back and crying at night. Depressed like a mog. Not understanding what's going on, God, what I'm doing, but I was listening and praying and talking until he told me what to do. And he told me to be still. Be still. And in that being still, I was able to save up about 40 to 50,000. So when my property came available, I was able to get it. I was able to buy that property. I was able to take over that property because then I had the cash to cover it. I was saving. I wasn't spending. I wasn't going out. I don't do that anyway. I've always kind of been a plain Jane. I'm not the average female. So I don't do a lot of shopping. I don't wear makeup and all that stuff. You know, I'm a very plain Jane female. What you see is what you got. I'm very natural and plain. So I don't spend my money on a lot of stuff that other women do, right? I'm not in the mall shopping a bunch of makeup, hair. You know, I just wasn't doing that. Most I may get done is my nails and my feet. But during that time, I wasn't even getting my nails and my feet done, really. I was sacrificing. I was holding on to everything. And that's the part that a lot of people not willing to do. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice your time, your money, your energy, your mindset. A lot of stuff changed for me when I cut the TV off. I used to watch Love and Hip Hop just like y'all. 6 years ago, I let that go. 2019, I let everything go in 2019. Besides smoking weed, I was still smoking weed back then. Today made 31 days that I have not smoked weed. Proud of myself. Because I also told y'all one of the hardest challenges is if you do something for at least 30 days, then you can beat it. You can continue it. The first 30 days of any sacrifice or anything that you take away, those are the hardest. Once you hit that 30-day, that 31-day mark, you good. I could be around weed smoke. Somebody can be smoking it right here in my face, and I'm not going to try to do nothing. Plus, God told me to let it go. So I got to listen. When y'all had those moments where you getting that tapping on the shoulder and you hearing that voice in the back of your mind telling you something, pay attention to that. Especially if it keep talking to you. Because you got the enemy and you got the Most High. And the Most High is going to always encourage you. The Most High is going to always empower you. The enemy will have you thinking bad, negative. The Most High don't do that. And that's what I had to learn to have a conversation with Gary. Gary had to check me. He said, if you're a business owner, you on here mad and emotional, I understand your feelings and how you feel, Patrice. He said, but you have the power and the voice and you have to use it properly. And so what you need to be doing is getting back focused, which is what we've been talking about. Credit, taxes, business. I'm not on here to argue with nobody about politics. You see, I'm real calm today, glowing and everything, because I went out there on that water last night for 2 hours, baby, and God lit up in me. Okay? I feel amazing today. Amazing. He sent people to talk to me, people that love me, people that had to check me. My cousin had to tell me, God speaks from a place of love. God don't talk down to his people. So even though I'm upset and mad, and even when I did that live the other day, I had to stop and say, okay, because I was feeling myself. See, that's that rage. That's that because when you frustrated with your people, when you frustrated from talking to people, when you frustrated, that's how it comes out. It becomes anger, right? Because you holding it in. And then when you let it out, it's right? So that's emotional intelligence, when you can step back and check yourself. And I'm very grown. I can check myself. So I will apologize to you all for coming at some of you all wrong and yelling at you and calling you out your name, silly, dumb, stupid. I get frustrated because I've been on this internet talking for over 10 years. Some of y'all just not seeing me. But if you go fact check me and do some research on me, I've been on this internet for 10 years. So yeah, people get tired and they get frustrated and everything may not come out nice. But grown adults can have a conversation, can take it back, and can apologize, can be accountable. As I love to come on here and say to y'all, you have to be accountable for your actions. You have to be accountable for how you treat people, how you talk to people. So I had to go and release that. I had to go to God and I had to get replenished, right? He sent me a couple of people that was able to talk to me, who I respect and I listen to where now I can come on here tonight calmly and talk to you and say certain things. Because that's who I am. I've never been a wrong or malice, racist person, whatever people think, right? Because off of a 30-second video, right? That's the world. But my tribe, my people in my life who know me, my people who have been following me on this internet know me. Never come from a place of malice, never come from a place of harm. But I'm also from the hood. Look, my shirt say book smart, street smart for a reason, right? So if you get a little froggy on me, hey, peaches come out, okay? And that's with anybody, right? That's with anybody. When you attack people, right? They're gonna get defensive. That's with anybody, right? But I also use my platform. I have a business, but I'm normally on here with my personality. My personality is what brings people to my business. My personality, the information that I share, the knowledge that I have about all of these different topics and subjects, that's what brings people to my business. It's genuine. I'm not coming across lying to kick it. I don't got to steal your money. I don't got to finesse you and finagle you. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's the big difference. So, do I have any questions about what I talked about? Because we are at 1 hour. So, I actually went over. I did not want to go over an hour. So, I do want to take time right now if you all have any questions about what I said. Again, Monday, October 13th. I put it down here. You guys over here can see it and text me. Text me trust to this phone number, 872-253-9272. That's the number, 872-253-9272. Text me trust and we'll send you the link. Again, this is a completely free workshop that we are doing, and we just want to show you all, right? Show you two different people, two different worlds, how we've come together, and how we are changing lives for people who want their lives changed. And it's just that simple. So if you got any questions, my tea is cold. Oh, it's not all the way cold. It's like lukewarm. If you got any questions now, I will answer them. Welcome. Repeat the number, 872-253-9272. Let me put it down here for you. Instagram. Text trust. And again, the minimum asset that you need to set up a trust is a life insurance. Y'all don't have to have businesses yet. You don't have to have property yet. That's the goal. Okay. The goal is definitely to own land, businesses, and property. All right. But if you have at minimum life insurance, you can have a trust, and which all of you should have. Okay. Because that's the thing that we all know for sure. We don't know nothing else, but we know one day we all gonna die. Right? So we have to prepare for that. I hate seeing GoFundMe's, y'all. I do. I really do. I hate seeing GoFundMe's. Can we please change that narrative? Can you please change that narrative? And it can be a term policy. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. If your kids are 18 to 20, the policy be $17, $13 a month, y'all. Come on. If you in your 30s and your 40s, it may be $30. Like, it literally, you have no excuse. If you have any type of shoes, clothes on your back, hair or nails done, fellas, shoes, Gucci bag, anything, if there's no excuse why you can't have life insurance. I don't want to hear it. You go out to dinner, anything that you do, you can afford. You can find something to do. You can afford life insurance. And a lot of these companies push whole life on y'all, which is a higher dollar amount, but you could start off with term. Let's be clear. You could start off with term and work your way up. Okay. But at minimum, I need more of you all to have life insurance and set that up. Right. And then we're going to talk to you in the wealth building class, in the trust class, how you can structure that, how you're not leaving the life insurance directly to the children. It's better to have it in the trust. All right. That's the difference that my grandparents did. They let us individually get the money. But if it would have been ongoing, the trust could have still been building, making more money. If you attach it to like a S&P 500 account, you could start today, put $20 a month in that sucker, and your kids in 20 years got $1 million. We don't talk about that. Compound interest. Write that word down. Compound interest. We don't talk about that enough. Changes your whole life. Okay. What if you're on a trust, but that trustee isn't talking to you? Lord. And this is why
This is why we have to be careful with who we put the trustee. So legally, if you are in a trust and you have um rights to that, I mean, I look, that's a better question for Gary. He would know because he the one who set up the trust. But in my mind, if you are a beneficiary in that trust, the trustee don't have the right to just be like, we not talking to you. Like the trustee is there to kind of make sure that everything goes the way it's supposed to go, right? So your trustee could actually be in violation. What you all also have to do, I got to take these braids out, baby, because I'm just over the new growth up in here. It's been a minute. But we're gonna ask Gary that on Monday. Hopefully, you could come to the class on Monday. That's a better question for Gary. But I will say there that your trustee could possibly be in violation of their duties, of their judicial duties. And so, if that's so, you may have to spend the money to get an attorney. And that's one thing I do want to say to some of us is don't look at things like, oh, well, this is what it is. Like if it's worth it, it's not even necessarily if it's worth it. If it's a legal like in this case, if the person is breaking their legal fiduciary, that's your right to get an attorney and to go to court and fight for what's yours. You get what I'm saying? So we're going to ask that question. Yeah, everyone definitely needs a lawyer friend or family member for sure. If you don't have one, we got you. Gary could be your trust advisor, okay? Come learn and get his info on Monday, okay? YouTube, I'm gonna start with you because I don't see any questions on Facebook. Say definitely listening. Okay, Mr. Leisure. What's up, Mr. Leisure? How do you put your car in your LLC? If I live in Arkansas and I filed my LLC in Wyoming. So you set your LLC up in Wyoming for the privacy, right? But your actual car, you're saying, is your car could be wherever. You could, because I mean, you could drive in all 50 states. So you could have your car registered wherever and still be set up. But basically, when you have your car under your business, it's a couple of ways you could do it. Either the business name itself, either the business is in the car, either the car is under the business name itself, which means it's under the business name and EIN number. Because you can go to lenders and get financing only under the EIN and the business name. Now, if you have your car in your personal name, one of the tax strategies that you can utilize is to lease your vehicle to your business. Okay. I'll go over that more on Monday. I'm not going to say too much on that on this free internet, but that's another option there. That's the whole reason why we do tax and trust strategy together, because the two coincide way better when they're taught together. Right. But that's the other way. So when we say put your car under your business, put your car under, the asset itself is under that entity. When I say my LLC owns my house, I actually put my house under my LLC, right? I actually created an agreement between me and my LLC where my LLC manages and owns the property, if that makes sense. And so I was sharing that with you all earlier that I am going to get off of here. The benefits, right? Remember I was telling you earlier that when you have a home, your personal dwelling, right? You don't get a whole lot of tax write-offs. You only get to write off your property taxes and your mortgage interest if you have a mortgage. For those that don't have a mortgage, they're only writing off their property taxes. And guess what? Your property taxes are written off on a Schedule A, which the young lady said on here earlier. If you're not itemizing, a lot of you all don't even know, your tax person never even told you that you're really not even writing that off, which I explained to my clients when we're doing their taxes. Hey, you paid $6,000 in taxes this year, but in order for it to calculate your itemized, you have to be more than $12,000 in expenses. So most people aren't even writing off their property taxes because their tax professional never really told them the truth of how the taxes really work, right? So people just think that, oh, I'm writing this off and I'm writing that off. And no, you're not. Because remember, your personal dwelling that you live in, the IRS does not give you benefits for that. You don't get to write off when you do your kitchen or your basement and all of that. That's not a tax deduction for you. Now, all because you're going to learn on Monday how to rethink and reprogram your mind to be a business in this country, which is why, again, Bezos, Elon, Trump all have 80% of their investments is tied into real estate. Real estate is a huge, huge benefit. It's asset. It increases your wealth, and it is a huge way to save on your taxes and your tax bill. So having a home is great, but when you are having the home and you're using it as an investor, right? My business owns my property, and then I'm renting my property out. Or my business owns my building. And then that building and that income that's coming in, that's why I say instead of getting a single family home, get you a 3 or 4 unit, because that's an investment property. That's no longer just your house. That's an investment property, because now you have 2 to 3 other people paying you money. That's income coming in. That's investment. That's an investment property. But when you go buy it, right, you're going to do probably the first time home buyer program or FHA program, and you're going to buy it as a first time home buyer. But once you buy the property and you have the mortgage and all of that, now we're going to structure it and you're going to set it up and transfer things over to your business. And your business is going to lease these units out, and your business is going to collect the income. And guess what? When you have investment property, now you're able to take depreciation. Now, if you want to rehab that kitchen in one of those units, that is a write-off. You can write off the contractor that you paid. You can write off the electrician, the plumber, the drywall guy. You can write off the material when you have investment property. So you have to get out of being a consumer and learn business and business terminology. That's the difference. That's how they're winning. Again, this ain't chess. This ain't checkers, it's chess, right? Don't be mad at who's using the system, because you all can use it. Every single one of you can use this same system. It's called the tax code. It's called the business code. It's called how America really works. This is the real American dream that they never taught you. They don't want to teach you that. You're not taught this. Why do you think that? Because the system works on you being continually in survival mode. Got to pay this house note. Your house really ain't worth nothing till you sell it. So if you're going to be living in it for 30 years, your house is not really an asset right now. It's a bill. All right? That mortgage payment, it got to be paid every month. But literally, if you had a 3 to 4 unit, them other units would be paying it for you, would be paying for the mortgage. So now you can invest your money into other things. You could put your whole mortgage payment into your E-Trade account, into your Fidelity account, and attach it to the S&P 500. That's $1,000 going in there every month. That's $12,000 going in there every year. Within 20 years, you will have millions sitting in your account because of compound interest. We don't talk about that enough. Okay? You can set up trust accounts. Your trust can set up a bank account. The difference between an irrevocable trust, and let me say it the correct way, because I don't want to mispronounce how Gary told me to say it. Let me look up my message real quick. So I'm saying it correctly. All right. A revocable versus an irrevocable. A revocable provides control from the grave, like a revocable, but it also provides control and asset protection while you're living as well. That's double protection. Okay. That was his statement. Revocable versus irrevocable. Irrevocable provides control from the grave, like a revocable, but also provides control, asset protection while you're living as well. And that's what you want. You want benefits while you're here. And that's what I used to hear some people say. Well, why would I leave all these kids this, and that? Now, I got to die for them to get this. You don't necessarily have to. You can have living benefits. You can still live and enjoy some of the fruits of your labor and your money and things like that. This is why I share with you all when I took my family, everybody that's on my corporation on my annual every year for my annual meeting. It's normally around my birthday because I have put my birthday around as my annual meeting time. So it's not my birthday, it's my annual meeting. I just plan everything around that time frame, and then I just happen to celebrate my birthday while I'm there. But technically, we're here for our annual meeting because we're here for business. So when you're a business owner, you still benefit from the business because you're the owner. You get how that works? So I could spend $10,000 in Miami, renting a mansion, hiring a chef and all of that stuff like I did under my personal, oh, Patrice, I'm balling out, it's my birthday. And then that was another bill. That's just $10,000 gone down the drain, right? But if I changed my mind and I had an actual company, a corporation, because corporations have annual meetings, not LLCs. So I have a corporation. So my corporation, we have to have annual meetings. That's every corporation has to have an annual meeting. If you have your family members on your corporation, then your kids, your wife, your husband, all get to travel with you to this annual meeting. And who said it had to be in your city? Your annual meeting can be wherever you want it to be. If you want to go to London for your annual meeting, if you want to go to France, if you want to go to Africa, if you want to go to Miami and go to Disney, wherever you want to go for your annual meeting, you can. It just has to make sense. It has to be within the business tax code and structure. So that is how these men that you all see and you sometimes may have feelings about, right? But the same stuff that they're doing, you can do. And I am getting off of here for real after this. And then the last thing I'm gonna say is, y'all remember when Trump buried his ex-wife in his cemetery? Do you know why? I'm gonna say that first. Do you know why Trump buried his ex-wife in his cemetery? I'm gonna ask that first before I get off of here. I don't want to just always give you the answer. I told you I like you to be interactive. I want you to start using that beautiful brain, that beautiful mind that God gave you. Our class will go heavy into about revocable trust. A lot of people talk about irrevocable trust. Our class will go heavy into irrevocable trust. You say, I don't know. He has a cemetery. Exempt, Chastity. Chastity, you in taxes. You can't say nothing if you in taxes. Can't tax a cemetery. Come on, Trill Biz. Can't tax a cemetery. Whoever told y'all that y'all had to bury y'all family in a cemetery? Who started telling y'all that? Because back in the day when we would see the city folks, we probably got away from that. But those of y'all that's down south, you understand the value of land a lot more than a lot of my city folk do. Right? But if you look at your heritage, like your great grandparents who probably had land in the South before they came up north, and you see those old movies back in the day where they go out to the back and they see the family headstones in the back of the land, that's still real. That's still real to this day. But again, they have programmed you, because who owns cemeteries? Go look up who owns cemeteries. All right. They have programmed you to come and spend all that money and spend all this money and put it to lay your people down when you can literally get you some land, get you a nice piece of property that can put your whole family back there and bury your grandmama back there, baby. There you go. Now you got a whole land and cemetery. They can't tax you on that. See, but they had to learn, they had to put y'all and take y'all out this system. Everything that was happening back in the day, how our people were flourishing and how people was doing things, they ain't like that. They wanted more control. Right. Down south does it a lot. That's why I said, Amber, people in the south still understand that. People that's up here in Chicago, they don't understand that because they in the city. We live in your house, the house, we got about this much space between each other in the house. We got like a walk-through space, right? Those people in the south or those people that's in the suburb that have access to a lot of land, they can do more. And again, the south understands that a lot more. You can do it in any state. You can do that in any state. No one talks about that. You do not have to bury your people in the cemetery. Now, is it a process? Is it some paperwork and stuff you got to go through? Yeah, but that's real. That's the reason why he did that. You think that he just cared about that woman and put her on the golf course? He put her on the golf course, in the back of the golf course, but it's land. So the next family member that passed, they going right over there with her. It's a cemetery. Because once you put that first body down, you have to label it as a cemetery. So that should be the generational wealth plan that's put in the trust that we're going to talk about on Monday. Once you do it and you start it, then your kids will do it. Your kids, your grandkids will follow the directions that you put out. That's why you lay everything out in the trust. This is how generational wealth is built. That's how these families got these land and passing these lands over to generation after generation, farm after farm, from generation to generation. It's structure, it's order. You got to teach them kids that. See, up north, this why I'm ready to leave Chicago and go south. Because up north, we have been indoctrined differently, right? When you in these buildings and on this concrete jungle, you don't think like the people of the South. You don't see that value, that history, that heritage like the Southern people do. And that's why it's called Southern hospitality, baby. It's real. I love it. It's a beautiful aura and energy. I can't wait to get to Florida. Told my mom I'm about to start looking right now for us to rent a house for the month because I need to get up out of Chicago immediately. This the negativity, the dark cloud, the mindset. I ain't with it up here no more. I'm rest to be down south. Okay, rest to be. All right. So these are some facts, y'all. This is the system. You will never be taught this. You will never be taught this. You are taught the other way for a reason. So now I hope that gives some of y'all a little clarity tonight. Again, I hope to see you in the workshop. I believe I answered everybody's question. No, I mean, my people, my mom's side of the family is from Mississippi, and I think my granddad's side is from, no, my grandmother's side is from South Carolina. And then my granddad's side was from Mississippi. And then on my mom's side, that's my dad's side. On my mom's side of the family, most of my grandmothers and my grandmother's sisters, my great aunts, they came from Mississippi and Alabama. A lot of our folk came from Mississippi. That's why when you meet people from Chicago, they always say, y'all talk country. That's why we talk country, because most of our people came from Mississippi and Alabama. They migrated up here. South side, west side. That's why I hate that south side, west side crap, because all of our people came from the same dang on area. We just landed on the south side and the west side, and now we got this stupid beef up here in Chicago, south versus west. Like, all that needs to go away. We shouldn't be having no beef with each other that look like with those of us that look like us. Technically, we shouldn't be having no beef with nobody, because that's the reality. Is we all in this world together. We all dealing with the same stuff, literally. That's why I said if you could walk past, they can't see you.
No, my family mother is from Missouri.
Oh, look, my mama had to come out here and check me. No, that's not correct. I thought Granny and them was from Mississippi, Missouri.
No, mother, all my aunts and my mom, they're from Missouri.
Okay, well, she just told me to show me. I'm over here telling the wrong family history. They're from Missouri. Excuse me. I could have sworn. Okay, I got the M's mixed up. That's what it is. Mississippi and Missouri. Yeah.
You thinking about Martin and Reba? Their family is from Mississippi.
Their dad's side.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like, cause I know my grandmother. She grew up in South Carolina, so yeah, and that I actually want to visit there too. I want to visit the Carolinas before I make my final decision. But my mom and I really like Florida. Like, we really like Florida. So I really think Florida gonna be where we end up at. But we'll see. We're gonna do a little traveling in these next 6 months to figure out where we want to go. Amber say, yes, my family is from Tutwiler. I haven't heard that name in Hollandale, Mississippi. All right, come on here. I have not heard either of those names, Amber. You gonna have me looking that stuff up. Okay, I didn't see that you had commented, Amber. Oh, I'm sorry, you got a couple of things on here, Amber. Let me address you before you and what did Ed say on here? Okay, that's when y'all was talking about just roll down the window and throw the money out the window. and say just roll the window down and throw it out the window. Basically, say surviving hook and crook, but we are learning differently now, aren't we? Seriously, that's why I said, baby, don't let nobody make you feel no type of way for going through nothing, because we all have gone there and been through. People just like to get on this internet and act like they haven't gone through. I'm not about to ever act like that. That's why I tell my story all the time. If you want to see and learn from somebody who look like you've been through what you've been through, here we go. So you can see a success story. It's all about what you do with it. Amber say, financially, I'm making very good money in that 12%, but I want to learn how to make better money moves. Come on, Amber, let's roll. I'm selling all my trucks to stop the bleeding. I'll reset the business later. There we go. T-Fly Perry, that's what you got to do sometimes, G. That's literally what you got to do sometimes. Like, it's okay as a business owner to say buy out. You know what I'm saying? I've been there. I know where you at. I'm actually about to let my office go. I'm going to share that with y'all. I'm actually about to let my office go. I don't need it. I don't see that many clients in there. I pay $1,200 a month. My mom dealing with the different things that we deal with. I like to be here and be available for her if she needs me. So I work from home a lot. I've been literally working from home this last year. So I'm like, Patrice, that $1,200 could be going into a whole nother other investment. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that you could be putting somewhere else. And then I have a client and partner that has an office downtown who's allowing me to come use their office for free. I don't even got to pay for it. Come down here, set up, do what you want to do. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to let go of my space and go to that office when I need to meet people. That's where we'll be meeting at. And I'm going to reinvest this money. I mean, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Especially with COVID, half the people don't come in anyway. Most people, you're consulting over the phone, on Zoom now. People don't necessarily need to be in front of you. So it's time. So T-Fly Perry, hey, gonna reset, baby. Gonna reset. Okay, y'all was saying congratulations from me being 31 days, no smoking. Amber say, I sold my condo. I hate this. When I get that little white right there, I got to get that off. I got Vaseline on my lip. I sold my condo because my husband and I did not want to deal with tenants. Maybe I need to buy an investment property. Yes, Amber. Yes. And look, and that's what I hear the most from people is I don't want to deal with tenants. Think about it like this. You don't always have to get regular tenants. You have corporate leasing. There are some, depending on where you buy the property, there are some companies. So think, when I say corporate leasing, think about a traveling nurse. A lot of these traveling nurses rent an apartment in the city that they're in because they may be there 3 months, they may be there 6 months, right? They're traveling nurses. That could be an option. Veteran housing. Veterans need housing, and they pay just like Section 8, if not better, from what I heard. They pay a per diem versus Section 8 say, okay, we're gonna give you 1,800 for a 2-bedroom apartment, whereas veteran housing, they pay per diem per room. So if you got a 3-bedroom, let's say you buy a 3-unit building, and each building got each apartment has 3 units, right? Now these new builds that people in Chicago doing, they putting a bathroom in the unit. So if you have a bathroom in each unit, oh, you really winning, right? But now guess what? That could be, let's just say you could get $2,000 a month per veteran. That's 6 bands for one apartment. Something to think about. Something to think about, Amber. So you don't always have to necessarily have, the 9-to-5 worker or even the Section 8 people if you don't want to deal with that. Think outside the box a little bit. You could do corporate housing or you can do veteran housing. There's a lot of veterans that need housing, and they pay per diem. It's different because that's the level I'm on now. Knowing what I know now from my good friend Andrea that teaches me everything about veteran. That's what I learned. So when I do build my 3-unit building that I'm working on getting the land to build on that, that's what I'm on. Veteran housing. Then you can expense it when it's for business. Correct. Yep. Down so the country, they still had outhouses the last time we went there. That's that Mississippi. Yeah, they still got outhouses. When we drove to Mississippi, we did a road trip over the summer, me and my cousins, and I hadn't been to Mississippi, and I was like, wow. And the land that we were on, it was family owned land. It was an older guy that she always would go and see. She used to take care of him when he was here in Chicago, and he ended up moving back to Mississippi. They land is so freaking, I don't even know how much acres they got, but all their family was on it. He had his own house. His cousin had her own house, which was maybe 50 feet away. Another cousin had a house in the back. They had a whole yard full of beautiful horses. Oh my God, to see them horses just running freely. Like they just had land. And then all the family was right there. And I was like, I love my family to death. I wish they would understand that because I got hella cousins. My mama the only one that had one kid. My aunts and uncles got 7 to 10 kids, like each. So I got hella cousins. I just be wishing that they think like how I think, because my family don't think like how I think. I'm like, man, this is what I'm talking about. Like out here on your own, in your own land with your family. Everybody got their own house thriving. You could come do cookouts. Like it was beautiful. We was hanging out. Them mama. You remember that? We was out there in the back. They had brought us some what they call that? Amber, where you at? What they call that drink down there in the South? It's not hooch. What is that? What is that stuff you was drinking, Mom? I don't think you was drinking none then. Huh? Right, yeah. Remember, but they was trying to give me that drink. I don't want to, what they call it. It's hooch. Where y'all at? Somebody on here. It's not hooch. It's that clear drink. It's that when Eddie Murphy and Martin Luther King, I mean Martin Luther King. When Eddie Murphy and Martin got picked up in that movie, that's what they were selling. I cannot think of the name of it. It's that drink that they make down there in the South. Moonshine. Thank you. I was waiting on one of y'all to tell me. Y'all know what I was talking about on here. Moonshine. The guy had jars of it. Okay. He was trying to get me to drink. I said, sir, I don't want to be passed out. I got to drive back to the hotel. The hotel was like an hour or two away. I couldn't do it. I had a little bitty sip of it, and it was too much for me. I'm not a drinker at all. But yeah, moonshine. I was like, this, just the whole vibe and atmosphere. I was like, yes, this is what I want. I want this life. So me and my mama, we coming south, baby. We coming south. We're about to buy some land, and we're coming south. We are coming south. Texas call it a day. Say 407. So I'm actually going to Dallas. I have been awarded Impact Leader of the Year um, by my friend, and she has a company, and she's having a brunch for us. So I will be in Dallas from the 17th to the 20th. So that weekend, that entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'll fly back Monday. So I will be in Dallas. I went to Houston. Houston was cool. It was nice. It was hot as heck. So I don't want to do Houston. But I want to be by some water. But I want to still come and visit Dallas, and even in South Carolina. I still want to visit some cities before we make a final decision. But yeah, I'll be in Dallas. So I don't know where you're at, Mr. Leisure, but I'll be in Dallas for October 17th through the 20th. So Jerome, you say, I'm with you. I just bought my 3-unit multifamily. Come on, Jerome. That's what I'm talking about. Just bought my 3-unit multifamily home last month, and I'm about to get another one. Come on, Jerome. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's what I'm talking about. That's real wealth building. Okay. 3-unit multifamily, and he's about to get another one. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. This is what you do. That's what you do. It is okay. We have to have ownership. Okay. Y'all have been paying rent for somebody and been paying off these people properties and stuff. Y'all, it's time. Okay. It's time. Mary, let me see, because you had a question and I didn't see it earlier. Before I go up too far, I want to make sure I answer it. Okay, are there any upcoming webinars? I just signed up for the 13th class. So that's the upcoming one. That's the one that I'm focusing on, which is the trust workshop. Okay, you say you already signed up for it. Great. No, that's the one I'm working on. I have more stuff coming out, but for right now, that's the first one. And I do have Solo to Squad. So Solo to Squad is my program for entrepreneurs specifically. For those of you all who want to learn or are already entrepreneurs or want to learn entrepreneurship, we focus more on business only. Business, entrepreneur, taxes, business credit, business building, structuring. So with Solo to Squad, I teach you how to start the business and then how you're going to build a team. That program is $69 a month. That one is open right now as well. We will start classes this week for that. I switched it from tonight. We're going to start tonight, but a lot of people could not do tonight. Cheryl, I see one of Cheryl is on there. Cheryl shared with me that Monday nights are not necessarily the best. So is it tomorrow? We might be on that tomorrow. Tomorrow or Thursday. I got to double check. But that's the only other program that I have is the Solo to Squad. So Solo to Squad and the program that me and Gary have, which we talking about the trust and estate plan. And those are the main two things that I'm focusing on right now. And then if you are in Chicago, just to give you all the heads up, our tax lien sale is going to be happening March 2026. So start getting your money together. We're going to open back up the tax group in November. So with the tax group, it's $399. It's a one-time $399 fee, and we go over how you can prepare for this upcoming tax sale here in Cook County. And then you can buy tax sales in every state. Every state, every county has them, but I'll be focusing on the one here in Cook County. I do have a website that we partner with that I'll talk more about later on, probably in November, where they have 30 other states that they talk about. But for now, we'll be focusing on the Cook County tax sale, which will be in March 2026. So I'm telling everybody right now, put your coins together, because we buying that land and we buying them properties back. Okay, we buying the blocks back. That's the focus. Jerome says, now I got a messy Section 8 tenant that I got to evict her. Dang, Jerome. See, yeah, that's why a lot of people don't want to do it, because they hear those bad stories. But still moving forward. Exactly. Let's go. It comes with the territory. Don't quit. Let's roll, Jerome. That's what we want. And we want that real life feedback, right? We want to have these type of conversations because it happens, which is why Amber said her and her husband didn't want to deal with that. But that's why I'm glad you was on here to hear about the group home and the veterans. Come on. Exactly. You already know. So I know you own it. When we come back, you're gonna be like, I got 3 veterans up in that sucker, right? That's gonna take back every dollar that you missed with her. That Section 8 tenant, you're gonna get it right back with those veterans in them group homes. So I'm glad to see you say that, Jerome. That's what's up. I gotta get off of here. I said I'm getting out of here tonight. I'm going to give me some rest. I haven't had no real sleep in like 3 days. So it's been a lot these last couple of days. Y'all just don't know. Phone blowing up, messages blowing up, business. It's been crazy these last 3 days. I had no clue that was going to happen, but everything happens for a reason. God has a plan, and this is part of it. So it is what it is. We are moving on to bigger and better. We are buying our land back. We are focusing on property, trust, estate planning, building these bank accounts, right? Because I'm ready to see 2 commas up in my account, okay? I'm trying to hit that $1 million mark before January 2026. So who with me? Let's roll. Jerome, I'm proud of you, G. That's what's up. For real, for real. I am proud of you. I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. I'm proud of you. I am proud of you for doing that. And on another one. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm out. I think I've answered everybody's questions. Mary says, yes, reasons why I love being in Mississippi. Lots of land and love. Oh, Mary, you there? Okay, girl, come on. You got to show me some places where to be or where to be looking at. I'm in Charlotte. I love it. I wish my family was here, though. I know, Mary. Sometimes we just got to go, girl. The families, they don't get it. They just don't get it. Sometimes we just got to go and leave them, and eventually they'll come, or sometimes they never will come. And that's what I've learned. As much as I want my people to understand what I've been saying, it is not for me to understand, right? We can only do what we do, but we got to do what works best for us, because it's our lives at the end of the day. And that's it. But that's the beautiful thing about life, is God will put people in your life that is just like family, right? As long as they're on the same wavelength, okay? You don't got to be my blood, but I got some people that I will roll with. You know what I'm saying? Just because we vibe like that. So hopefully you got that there where you are, Mary. And that's it. Peace, love, period. Goals for sure. Amber, I have a friend in Galveston and she loves it. Okay, Galveston, that's Texas, right? Galveston, Texas, I think. That's what I say. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go check out the scene. My mama going with me. I'm taking my mama. So Dallas, we will be in Dallas for the weekend. That's a short trip, but we still can do some things and look around a little bit. So, all right, y'all, I'm getting sleepy. I got to go. I will see y'all tomorrow. I'll be on earlier in the day. It's not going to be as late as tonight. I'll probably be on like maybe 6:30 to 7, like between 6 and 7 tonight. We had a lot going on tonight. So tomorrow I will be on, though. Every day I'm going live to talk about this trust class, because I want many of y'all to get in it and understand it. So see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. I'm out. Of course, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hopefully you learned something new and you will come back and you will get into the workshop. You don't have to agree with